If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out. Whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant, Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final boarding call, and the doors will be closing soon.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Tim Scott. Bob Collar is touring the country doing some massive research for ResortLoop.com and our friends at the Inside Track over at ResortLoop.com/support. Everyone, I decided this week I didn't want to skip a show. I'm just going to do a show here very similar to Syndrome from the first Incredibles movie. I'm going to be monologuing. And this is not going to be a terribly long show, but I had to come up with a topic that I could just talk about myself. So I'm going to talk about a personal list. This is going to be Tim Scott's top... What's on my list here? Top 6 extinct Walt Disney World restaurants. That's right. Everybody does their favorite extinct Walt Disney World attractions. I'm going to go with restaurants. Some dining experiences that may have changed or might not be at the parks or the resorts or anywhere at Walt Disney World right now. And some of these are dating back, I'm going to be honest, to the 80s. I know. 1, I'm old. 2, I appreciated the restaurants. 3, Disney food was still good back then. Although I will say, a little bit of a tangent here, culinarily, is that a good word there? The culinary world in the country, just as a general population, has evolved so much over just the past few years. With all the cooking shows and all the celebrity chefs, inspiring new celebrity chefs, inspiring new local chefs. Food just everywhere. I know I can speak for Cleveland. Food scene in Cleveland, fantastic. Charlotte, so we have one of our famous Cleveland chefs here who has a place in Charlotte. He's had it for a couple of years now. Fantastic as well. So, let's go on with Tim's top 6. I had to double check my list. Top 6 extinct Walt Disney World restaurants. We're going to start with an honorable mention. So this is not actually part of the list, but it was one I thought of when I wrote it down because I loved one item on this menu. It was at the old Coral Isle Cafe. You're like, Tim, where is this Coral Isle Cafe? It was where the Kona Cafe is now at the Polynesian. Now, I will say, Kona, fantastic. And they've updated the area quite a bit. Beautiful, but there was one dish on the Coral Isle Cafe that was my favorite. It was kind of a seafood salad combination. It was called the Surfer. Love the salad. It's not quite there anymore. If they want to bring it back, please let me know. But that was honorable mention. Coral Isle Cafe, Polynesian Resort. Coming in at number 6, King Stephen's Banquet Hall. Now this is very similar to the honorable mention I just gave, mainly because it's of a couple dishes on the menu. I realized that King Stephen's Banquet Hall, which was inside Cinderella's castle, which is now Cinderella's royal table, back then, space pretty much identical. Everything was kind of identical. It still had that weird bathroom there, kind of split level on the steps. The tube elevator, which I still think is fantastic. You didn't have all the characters on there, but again, on the menu, and this was big at Disney World at the time, a lot of restaurants, mainly because it's easy to prepare, and you can upcharge a lot for it, was prime rib. Prime rib was everywhere, and I will say the prime rib at King Stephen's Banquet Hall in the Polynesian, fantastic. But I'm going to jump down to the dessert menu. Also back in the 80s, crepes were really popular. I want to see these make a comeback, and I know there are a lot of crepe makers out there, so I'm hoping for some gourmet crepes to come back. At King Stephen's Banquet Hall, dessert menu, crepe Sherwood, which is kind of a chocolate crepe, and I want to say it was like with a mint filling, and I think it had a strawberry topping on there. That was fantastic, and there was also the crepe Angelica, which is more of your standard, vanilla or plain, with like a coconut cream filling with whipped cream, and I think that had like cherry topping on the outside too. Fantastic. So, number 6, King Stephen's Banquet Hall, mainly for the crepes. All right, number 5, we're going to go over to the Walt Disney World Village. You know it now as Disney Springs. It's going to make everybody laugh. Captain Jack's Oyster Bar. It was that octagonal offshoot Came off near where, right now where Rainforest Cafe is. Shot off from that area. Nice little, it was like a bar. Had a small seafood menu. Nothing extravagant, but again, they had a good appetizer on there. It was kind of a sampler platter. You had some shrimp. I think you had some oysters on there, of course. You might have even had crab meat on there. And you could get the stuff either hot, or if you wanted to, they would chill it over ice for you. So you could have a nice shrimp cocktail, crab cocktail, oysters with some cocktail sauce. Now, it wasn't necessarily a full meal, but I mean, chilled seafood with a nice beverage at Captain Jack's Oyster Bar, overlooking the Empress Lily. Now it's paddlefish. Man, this is like a walk through the ages here. Love the Empress Lily. Paddlefish looks too modern to me. I'm not sure. I don't know. Although I will say the menu there impresses me. Bob and I will talk about that one later. So, number 5, Captain Jack's Oyster Bar. Let's go to number 4. Now, I think I only ate here once, but I remember walking by it several times, and it always smelled fantastic. We're going to the Magic Kingdom. We're going to Adventureland. We're going to the Adventureland Veranda. I know there was nothing there for years and years and years. I think it might have been like a character meeting spot for a long time. It was sponsored by Kikkoman. I think they had things like broccoli beef. I think like sweet and sour chicken. Some egg rolls with like fried rice. Always smelled fantastic. It's just fit in that theme of Adventureland, I thought, so well. And since there was nothing there afterwards, it was kind of a bummer because, it seemed like such a great dining experience. It was more of a quick service place. I think you could go in and get a quick table, like a lot of the places there in the Magic Kingdom. It wasn't an extremely fancy place, but everybody seemed to love it. But I don't think it did the volume. So that one went away. So number 4 was at the Adventureland Veranda. Number 3, I'm going back to Disney Springs / the Walt Disney World Village. And it is where the Rainforest Cafe is now, the Village Restaurant. Now, the Village Restaurant was just a nice, quiet, out-of-the-way. Remember, the Walt Disney World Village is nothing like Disney Springs is now. It did not have any of the hustle and bustle. It was not super crazy. Nice little shopping. Very similar to now, even though you've got that whole new massive side where they have all those different national shops. These were all like the areas now. More local, highly specialized shops. It was just fun and cool to walk from shop to shop, seeing all the different things you could get. I know candles were big back then. There was a wine and spirit store that always seemed to do great business. Different clothing spots. Just a very nice place to get kind of out of the sun. Duck in and out of the shops. Go to Captain's Oyster Bar. But the Village Restaurant had a very nice menu. They had some grilled things. My favorite there was always the steak Oscar. I think they also had prime rib. They had some fish. And again, you had big glass windows. Again, you were looking out. You could see the Empress Lily over there. Just one of my favorite spots. We always made sure to get over that way. And the Village Restaurant is actually where the very first Chef Mickey's was. The very first Chef Mickey's, before it moved to the Contemporary, was at the Village Restaurant for a dining experience with Mickey Mouse and friends. Coming in at number 2, we're going to head over to Fort Wilderness. Now, this restaurant's still there. Everybody knows the Trail's End. But I'm going to say what the Trail's End doesn't have anymore that they had back in the day was make your own pizza. So if you after a long trip, trekking your RV down to Walt Disney World and setting it all up, nice little evening dinner. Maybe you didn't want to go into a park that night, even though, back then it was probably cost you like $30 or $40 a day for a ticket for for the theme parks. You could go Trail's End, and you'd walk in. You get like your little cafeteria style line, and you would just pick out your sides or your toppings for your pizza, put them on your tray. Maybe you get like a pitcher of probably Coke at the time. You'd put it on your pizza, however you wanted. If you want to do half, dump the things on half, they'd run it through the pizza oven. You'd pick it up on the other side. They'd call your name. I don't remember exactly how that'd work. Take it back to your table, and I think it's just like today. The banjo player and the piano player would come next door from the Hoop-de-Doo musical review right next door, and it was just a great time. And then from there, we'd always walk over to the trading post, see what was new over there. There were always some unique things over there. If you go over to the trading post, and you still happen to see, now this was a big thing back in the day where it's like a huge barrel or a huge jar of big dill pickles. I don't know if they still have that, or if they do, if anybody's been there, let me know. I'm just curious. Don't have the RV anymore. Haven't RV'd in a super long time, so I don't get over there nearly as much as I should. And when I do, have not thought to check for the dill pickle. I will say, tangent alert, back in the day in the 80s, there were no ice cream spots. They were very hard to find. One of the best, closest ice cream spots, if you want to get an ice cream cone, was the Howard Johnson's over on Hotel Boulevard. Again, over by the Walt Disney World Village, which is now, Disney Hotel Boulevard, or Hotel Boulevard over that way. And now I think it's the Holiday Inn. I think. Don't hold me to that one. But if you wanted ice cream, you had very limited choices over at Disney World. The only other place I knew of to get ice cream quickly, over at the Trading Posts, because we actually did this from the Contemporary. Go over there, you get a half gallon of ice cream. I think it might have been pints. I believe it was Lady Borden, because you had the little see-through window on the top so you could see what the flavor was. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling on about pizza and ice cream, which is, if I'm going to ramble about something, one, it'll be food. Two, it could be ice cream. Coming in at that was number 2. At number 1, this is going to be shocking to a lot of people. The old Top of the World. I'm not talking the Top of the World lounge at the top of Bay Lake Tower. I'm talking the Top of the World at the top of the Contemporary Resort Hotel. You're like, Tim, the California Grill's there, and it reset the standard for Disney dining. That is absolutely true. The California Grill is fantastic. Here's the thing about Top of the World. They had good food back in the time. Again, it was like, back in the 80s, 70s and 80s food. Your standard steaks, prime rib, fish. And it was very good. But what they did up there were cabaret-style shows, singing shows, or stand-up comedians that were, kind of popular for the time. You might occasionally see them on, like, Johnny Carson. Who else was big back then? Johnny Carson was, like, the big one. Even David Letterman. That might have been even before David Letterman. Now, these celebrities, they were, like, relatively famous singers. I mean, I remember once, back in the day, we had seen Barbara Eden. There was a comedy duo there that was very popular. There was another one, I want to say Gloria Gaynor, but I can't quite swear to that one. Because, again, this was like the late 70s. I was just a young buck back then. I don't even know if that's the appropriate term. But I think this could be a great concept for today. There are so many, this is going to sound awful, minor celebrities and entertainers out there from all the TV shows. You figure, all your American Idols, all your, people from The Voice, Comic Last Standing. You could easily do dining packages with a nice dinner, with a nice show. These are shows you had to dress up for. It's one of the few things at Disney World. Now, I mean, today it's like, I think, Victoria and Albert's. That may be the only one where you're required to wear a jacket and tie. But here you had to dress up. It was a nice little... It's kind of like a formal night on a cruise. Since we don't dress up a whole lot at home, it's kind of nice to go out, dress up, go out and see a show, go out and see somebody, relatively famous, somebody you've seen on TV. I know that, like the Candlelight Processional, you have celebrity narrators in there. But this is a much more intimate setting. So I got to think you could find easily somebody from any one of these reality, entertainment type shows to come in, entertain, put them up for a few nights in a Disney hotel room, give them some theme park tickets, have them perform a little show. Again, you're at Disney. You could have some high powered guests in the audience. Maybe give these people some more PR. Help them evolve in their craft. Maybe become even more famous. There's a bunch of people that have become famous through Disney programs. Remember that little group, the Mickey Mouse Club, had Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera. Who's the other one? Britney Spears, a whole bunch of people. But anyway, I digest because I'm talking about food. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's conclude with a summary of my list for the top 6 Walt Disney World extinct restaurants. Coming in at number 6, King Stephen's Banquet Hall. Number 5, Captain Jack's Oyster Bar. Number 4, the Adventureland Veranda. Number 3, the Village Restaurant. Number 2, the Trail's End, mainly because of the make-your-own pizza, although it's still there, but I miss the make-your-own pizza. Number 1, Top of the World. I don't know if you agree or disagree with any of these things, but I would love to hear what you have to say. Let's take this conversation over to Facebook, over at Resort Loop Live. Join us over there at Facebook. If you're not a member of the group, just ask us. We just check out to make sure you're not a spammer and you're actually a real person. We'll approve you right away. We can get to talking. Everybody, let's hope Bob's having safe travels. And I guess I'll wrap up the show here. Usually I wait till I hear that's all I got, so that's how I know to wrap the show. So hopefully that's all I have. Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. If you'd like to help support the show, join us over at ResortLoop.com/support. That'll lead you over to our Patreon page, and you can see what's going on over there. And if you'd like to book a trip, Bob and I would be thrilled to help you over at ResortLoopTravel.com. Everybody, thanks for listening. I hope this hasn't gone too painful for you, but I can't imagine it's less painful with Bob Collar in the room. Anyway, I'm Tim Scott. Thanks for listening, and remember, go out there and share the gateway to the magic.
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.